She's not what you'd expect. She's tough and feisty, but gentle and tender. She makes millions and gives millions to the poor. She cries, she laughs, she teaches, she comforts. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. We are so blessed that you decided to join us today. I'm confident that today you're going to get 3 keys to receiving your next massive promotion. Seriously, you're not going to walk away from today's show being lost, confused, wondering what you should do to be able to grow in your profession, how to get big bonuses. You're not going to go, I just don't know if I could do that. No, you're going to know exactly what to do and how to get the job done. I'm super excited about today's program because there's something that we have implemented inside of our office that has really changed some things in our company. I've watched tremendous growth happen in the character of our team, the production of our team, the focus of our team, the commitment level of our team. It really has been a phenomenal season for all of us here at Destiny Global, which is DaniJohnson.com. So I'm excited to share some of those things with you today. We also have set up some people calling in who are struggling in their career, really having a hard time figuring out how to get themselves promoted. And so I'm excited to see the light bulb go off inside of people's heads. I have to pass on a quote to you that my coworker Mary found that is so completely appropriate for today's content. The will to win, the desire to succeed, the urge to reach your full potential, these are the keys that will unlock the door of your personal excellence. Awesome. Absolutely awesome. So true. So I have a question for you. How hard are you working? Do you do just enough to get by? Do you meet the expectations that have been set before you? Or do you shoot higher and higher, always reaching and improving yourself to higher ground? If you were to grade yourself today, whether at work or at home, what grade would you give yourself? When was the last time you evaluated yourself? At our last Creating a Dynasty, we actually shared our company's evaluation form. This was so dynamically helpful for everybody, and I'm going to tell you why. You see, people are under the impression that once you reach a certain level of success, that you're always on your game. There could not be anything further from the truth. I mean, there could be nothing further from the truth. The reality is that the more successful you become, the more you actually have to fight to maintain that success and to go beyond that success. Because we reach a certain level of success and we get comfortable. And do you know what comfort zone brings? Laziness. It also brings a lack of gratitude. It brings complaints. And it changes our production from a high level of production to a very low level of production. And we also have invited in entitlement to go along with it, as though entitlement was actually needed in this equation. That's what I've watched happen to myself. That's what I've watched to employees. And I've watched it happen to my clients, that we reach a certain level of success and we seem to think we can just coast, we can just skate by without ever learning anything new. We can skate by on the minimums. We no longer have the same level of commitment. And all of a sudden, we start to lose our success. And then we blame other people for where our production isn't anymore. So today, we're going to evaluate ourselves. Yes, we're going to evaluate. You're going to evaluate you. I am continuously always evaluating myself pretty much on a daily basis because there are some things that I want to accomplish. And if you want to accomplish some things, you've got to hold yourself accountable. You've got to get other people to hold you accountable. And you've got to have a very clear plan in order for you to succeed. So in this evaluation process, okay, you will find, especially in ours, okay, so maybe your company doesn't have an evaluation. You know, I'm talking about an actual form. Ours is a couple of pages. And, you know, either you need improvement, you meet expectations, you often exceed expectations, or you always exceed expectations. Hitting the always exceeds expectations is a very rare thing for most people. And most people generally choose, and I'm going to say that again, choose not to hit it. It's all our personal choices. It really is. Everything in our life is up to us. What we choose to do, how we choose to approach it, how we choose to get the results, how we choose to work with other people, how we choose to communicate, how we choose to see the job, how we choose to see the tasks that need to be done. All of that is our choice, and it dictates the results that get produced from the work that we're actually doing. So today we're here to help you come up with a very clear, very specific plan on how you can get your next promotion. So before I go any further, we've got some people that are waiting on the line who have some questions about their job, who have some questions about how can I succeed in my job. So let's go ahead and go there now. We've got Kristen Hurd from Mount Pleasant, Texas. Kristen, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, Ms. Dani.
Hi.
So, I'm working 45 hours a week at my first job, and then I just started a home-based business job, and I just feel like I'm lost. With my normal, 45-hour week job, I have 2 kids, and I just feel overwhelmed, burned out. I don't even want to be there anymore.
So tell me, you said you're working 45 hours a week on your job, and you have kids?
I teach kids, yes, ma'am. I work in a daycare.
Oh, wait a second. Okay. So do you have children of your own?
No.
Okay. So you have no kids of your own. You work in a daycare and you're working 45 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what's the problem?
I just feel like I'm burned out, with no direction. I went and worked a new job, and then I lost that job, and then I came back to this job, and I just feel like I'm stuck, no hope or anything.
Okay. So do you know how people get stuck?
No.
We stop learning new skills. We stop growing our minds. We stop growing our hearts. When we stop learning and applying new skills, we put ourselves in a rut. And we just keep reproducing the same old thing we did yesterday, the day before, and last year. So what new skills do you need to learn to help your job get easier and for you to become more valuable to your boss? Have you sat down with your boss and even asked the question, what can I do to improve? How can I be more valuable to this company and organization? Tell me some things that you see me doing that are actually hurting this company. Have you sat down with your boss and had that conversation?
No.
You haven't. So I just gave you 3 questions to sit down and ask your boss. Be prepared for whatever they're going to say, and whatever they say, do it. Because now you're hitting the bullseye. So many people who are employed by others aimlessly work at that job, waiting for someone to tell them how they can improve. You're never going to get that from anybody. You have to be proficient in going and asking the question. Tell me exactly, this is what you say to the boss. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to work. There's lots of other candidates that you could have chosen for this job. I'm very, very grateful that you've allowed me to be here, and I want to serve better. I want to grow. I want to help this organization grow. I want to help this organization make more money. I want to help them become more efficient. So as I do that, I hope that it is seen and that I can grow with it. So please tell me 3 areas in which I need to improve. Please tell me 3 things that you see me doing that are hurting our brand. Tell me 3 things that you think I could do that could help to bring more business in. Tell me 3 things that I can do that can help your job be easier. As you do this, you're going to find a very specific list and attack that list. And when you do that and when you advance yourself and you learn new things, then you feel better about yourself. You're no longer lost. You're actually focused on a goal and you're focused on improving yourself. The other thing too is that daycares are always looking for new students. So are you promoting the daycare outside of work? Are you out there recruiting other students to the school? Meaning recruiting the parents of the kids. Are you talking about the brand? Are you helping to promote the brand? Are you using your social media to help promote the brand? All of these things make you more valuable to the business every single time. All right, so we're going to go on to, by the way, I promised you that today we're going to give you very specific strategies, very specific areas to grow your skill. In fact, before I move on to the next caller, I got to address this. We recently had reviews in our office. We do quarterly reviews now. We just started doing that this year. I'm so excited about these quarterly reviews. Most of the people in our office are very excited about it. When the other ones who are not excited about it decide to come to the table and go, okay, I guess I get to have a list of the areas of what I can work on. And they see that as their absolute formula for success. Well, I don't do the reviews for the whole company. I do the reviews for the top 3 directors in the whole organization. And I love it because they are all hard on themselves. Not in a self-deprecating way, but a very sober way. Like they soberly look at their production, they soberly look at their character, and they very transparently share what their weaknesses are. Not putting themselves down and, oh, I suck at this. There's never any of that at the top level. That's always the people that are further down. And they're there because they are self-deprecating and they do put themselves down, and or they don't see their weaknesses at all and they're blinded by their weaknesses and they're working in their weaknesses and they're just hurting themselves. So anyway, I'd had this hunch about 2 of them. And see, oftentimes in life, we can become successful by winging it. But see, your next stage of success isn't going to come from winging it. You can get pretty far from winging it, but it's not as far as you can go. It's not where you're supposed to be. And so if you're 50 years old or 45 years old and you're still winging it and expecting to hit your goal and expecting to grow your company and expecting to grow in your position, I'm sorry to tell you, but you're kind of smoking crack. You're not going to get there. So your winging it has got you to where you're at. But if you really want to become phenomenal at what you do, and you really want to achieve those bigger goals that you have set, that is going to take mastering something. And mastering means you're going to have to take some classes. You're going to have to invest in some very specific seminars. You got to look at where the weakness is in the business and look at what your weakness is, and you got to start attacking and getting really, really good in those areas. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more after this.
How successful you will be at anything can be measured by how high you score in 3 areas. Know what they are? Find out next on The Dani Johnson Show. Did you know you can see Dani Johnson live and in person? Go to DaniJohnson.com and find out about our next live event. First steps to success. Register today. Call 866-760-8255 or go to DaniJohnson.com/FSTS.
The whole story of how I went from homeless to millions is right here in this book, First Steps to Wealth. I'd love to give you a free copy of this book. Just dial 888-757-8880. You can get your free copy of this book. It's like a real book, my friend. You can get an ebook copy for free right now, or if you'd like to pay the shipping to get this $15 book to your house, I'd be happy to send it to you. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of First Steps to Wealth today and begin on a brand new path of some great success. Imagine living in a decrepit, unsafe hovel made of waste material on top of old mining tunnels that could explode and sink your home at any moment. Imagine no water to drink, no safe place to raise your children, no food for your starving baby. Imagine that your kids can't learn to read because they have to work to support the family instead of going to school. Could you imagine living in that kind of fear and hopelessness? This is exactly what families are dealing with in the poverty-stricken village of Santa Pancha, Nicaragua. These families can barely meet their basic food, water, and housing needs. We are transforming that village. Be a part of this miracle. I want you to go to the website now and learn how you can help. Go to kingsransom.org and click on Santa Pancha. There you can join with other warriors against poverty and help bring a miraculous transformation to Santa Pancha. That's kingsransom.org, kingsransom.org.
Prior to getting started with DaniJohnson.com and First Steps to Success, we were spending absolutely every dime that we made. We were really struggling financially. Since plugging in to First Steps to Success just 4 months ago, we started a brand new business that is doing very, very well. We've paid off $4,500 in debt, but the most important thing is my relationship with my husband has improved like dramatically. I mean, we have so much more fun together. You know, I don't know about you, maybe your finances, you're doing great, maybe you're debt-free, maybe your relationships with your spouse, with your family are great. But if not, if you have some areas in your life that feel a little out of control or there's things that you need to work on, I highly recommend getting to First Steps to Success as soon as you can.
Prior to being dragged out to First Steps to Success, I was hopeless. I had no point to life. It was a day-to-day existence, working a job I despised for people I didn't respect. Deeper and deeper debt every year. You just couldn't get on top of it. I just had no hopes or dreams, none at all, and there was no point to life. But since coming out, we paid off $280,000 worth of debt, married the woman of my dreams. I came to love my job and the people I work for. I have all kinds of hopes and dreams. I get to watch them happen every day. I don't know what your life is like, you know. There's probably tons of hope. You probably know why you live and you got places you're going, but if you don't, you need to sign up for First Steps to Success. You go to DaniJohnson.com and you click on it and be here, because your life will not be the same if you do.
Prior to First Steps to Success, I was drowning in debt. I was terrified of my bills, and I wanted to travel, but I never had the money. And since coming to First Steps to Success, in the last 14 months, I've paid off over $18,000 in debt. I've gone on 6 vacations, and I'm not terrified of my bills anymore. So if you want to learn some proven strategies to really learn how to connect with people, take your life to the next level, all while having a total blast, you need to get registered for the next First Steps to Success today.
Prior to coming to First Step to Success, we were totally struggling, totally under the weight of $640,000 worth of debt, making $20,000 a month, but living paycheck to paycheck. So when we came here, and I realized that it takes a totally different skill set to keep money, to create wealth than it is to make money, I have totally turned around our lifestyle. We have paid off $640,000 worth of debt in 2 years. We are debt-free as of June of 2013. I don't know where you're at. You might have all your finances in order. You might have a wonderful life. Your marriage might be all perfect and your kids are behaving. But if not, if one of those things is lacking, you gotta get here. Book your next event. You need to be here. You will not regret it.
In your face and in your corner. You've never had a coach like this before. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
So are you excellent at what you do? Are you diligent? Are you consistent? These are important questions for you to grade yourself on. Hi, I'm Dani Johnson. Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. We're talking about you getting a massive promotion. Whether you run the business yourself or you work for someone else that carries the responsibility of running that business, either way, you want a promotion? Here's how to get it. What's your level of excellence? Grade yourself. Diligence. Grade yourself. Consistency. Grade yourself. And if your work is at home, meaning like my full-time work is as a mother, a wife, a grandmother, the home is my full-time job. How are you doing there? How's your excellence with how you're keeping the house if you're the female and that's predominantly your job? Okay, I'm not saying that the men shouldn't. No, that's his job too. In all reality, it's his responsibility and we're his helpmate. So let me ask you, so how's your excellence with your portion of your chores at home? How are you doing with diligence, being diligent and consistent? What about as a parent? Where's your level of excellence as a parent? In teaching your children how to have good character instead of arguing with them, teaching them how to work, teaching them how to save money, teaching them how to become investors. How are you doing? With diligence with that, being diligent, being consistent with the discipline of teaching and training up your kids to become successful one day, teaching them good people skills. You know, all the things that we talk about in grooming the next generation for success. If you haven't gotten a hold of that book, here it is. You need a copy of this. You need the whole home study course. Groom yourself for success if you weren't completely raised right. If mom and dad left out a few things accidentally, as every parent does, they gave it their best. They had a very short time to do it. They missed out on some things, okay? At the same time, they're trying to grow themselves up. If you're anything like my husband and I, we were growing up at the same time as we were raising kids, even though we thought we were so old. We were so young and stupid. Grooming the next generation for success, it's a great way to be able to make sure that you're not leaving anything out when setting your kids up for failure, because someone is grooming your children right now for failure. Our society is grooming your kids for failure right now. But back to this, I want you to grade yourself. How are you doing? How do you see excellence? What does excellence look like for you? And how are you doing in that particular category? Joining us right now, we've got Philip Slauson from Dallas, Texas. What does excellence mean to you, Philip? What does it look like to you?
Well, hi, Mr. Johnson. I really appreciate being on the show. Just to dovetail on the question about excellence, I think it really comprises of maybe three different things for me. And that's taking pride in my work and taking ownership in my work.
Yes.
And really being a part of the mission of the business, of the nonprofit, whatever.
Yes.
I think the hole I've fallen in life is, just trying to serve the boss, yes, but also being a team player.
Yes.
Not just more than just serving the boss, being a part of that mission, have a passion for that mission,
yes.
whatever it is.
Yes.
And then the second part for me is having the perspective of your best today is good enough.
Yep.
I grew up in a house that, quite frankly, my relationship with my father was performance-based. Mm-hmm. And that kind of led me to trying to be perfect in every way and do everything mm-hmm. perfect, and it's just not reasonable.
Yep.
And there's a lot I didn't know.
Yep.
And so when I discovered the quote of, do your best and forget the rest, mm-hmm. it just changed my world. I kind of relieved myself of the pressure of perfection.
Yeah. We're not going to have perfection in this world.
I'm sorry.
We're not going to have perfection in this world.
Right, exactly. Mm-hmm. Only Jesus, right?
Yep.
And then third, just being teachable, being hungry to learn, and just getting better. In my young life, I tried to be a really good golfer, and golf taught me so much. And if I was to sum that up in one lesson is, golf teaches you that you're playing, yes, the course, and yes, the competition, but you're really playing yourself.
Yep.
and from a psychological standpoint, it teaches you so much. Mm-hmm. And anyway, I just wanted to say it's just such an honor for you to be one of my coaches and mm-hmm. voices in my life, and you've been just such a blessing.
Wow.
So I just wanted to share that.
Philip, thank you so much. And I want you to look at today and grade yourself on how you're doing in those particular areas. But I think you're spot on. That excellence, yes, and taking ownership in that. Right when you're saying this, I'm like, do you want a job? You want to move? Because we all look for that. That's high value to us here in the marketplace. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more after this.
Be sure to tell a friend about the Dani Johnson Show. It just might be the key to the breakthrough they need.
But I'm so blessed that I found what is in Grooming the Next Generation for Success. This is a book that is being taught in universities around the world. It's been noted as the best book on parenting that has ever been written. Crazy, if you ask me. But the point is that this thing gets results. Get your copy today, 888-757-8880. Again, that's 888-757-8880. Or go to DaniJohnson.com. That's DANI Johnson.com. Get your copy today.
We were in the Marine Corps. I was a young officer, and you don't make a lot of money, even as an officer in the military. You just don't. So starting with college, we had acquired quite a bit of financial debt. Going forward, we just had to have a house. We had to buy a house, so we bought a house at the peak of the market, in 06, before the market fell. We had car loans, we had credit card debt, and buying things that I can't remember what we were buying, and I'm sure we don't have it now. But we had pretty well strapped ourselves to the point where there was many times when we, at the end of the month, had realized we'd spent more than we'd actually brought in and had saved little to nothing. Usually it was
more
nothing.
Accumulating, even just a little at a time, like that compound effect. It doesn't look like it's much, but every month you're putting a little bit more on the credit card, and we were just, it wasn't like we were going downhill fast. It was this slow, gradual drowning and suffocating when it came to debt.
The bottom was when we realized we were caught into the kind of the rat race of, now we're in the military, we have a quote stable income, and to keep up the lifestyle that we saw or we had at the time, the only way we saw of really continuing that lifestyle was staying in the military. And with that, for those of you who are in the military or know someone, comes with it a lot of stress and a lot of uncertainty. So it meant more deployments, meant leaving a lot, meant instability in the family, meant Summer was the head of the household. It meant a lot of negative things that made us very anxious in it, and then it kind of rolled into that feeling of it is what it is, kind of.
Well, we started to grow distant.
Stuck.
When we've always had this really incredible relationship, we started to grow distant because that tension between us, and I felt stuck and trapped and hopeless as a military wife because our security was wrapped up in our only option is to stay in 20 years because we're not saving any money. We're actually in the red, and so we better just hang our hat on that pension. That's where our security was. And as Chad said, a lot of stress and anxiety went along with that.
We didn't have a dream. Our dream had stopped, so we were just like, we're just gonna make enough to get by,
survive. We weren't thriving. We were surviving. And that was we didn't argue. We weren't we
weren't mean to each
other. I think we were just distant. We weren't. It was sad. It was a slow, gradual drowning. So someone in our industry that I highly respected and I trusted recommended that we go. And with a deployment upon us and that hopeless feeling inside of my heart, I knew that if we kept doing what we were doing, I could see what it meant for our future. And so I was willing at that point to try anything. And I remember Chad went kicking and screaming because usually before a deployment you go see family or you go on a cruise or you go on a family vacation or something like that. And kicking and screaming, I took him up to DC, and I remember we were standing in line there. And he's like, why is everybody so nice here? He was just
there's somebody.
And I think that experience in itself together really started to move us into a positive direction. So when he deployed, I felt like I had some tools, some skills to start making a change. If you want something different, you have to do something different. That kept ringing in my head, and this was our something different. So we started with being faithful with our finances, and we started to realize we need to be very, very smart with where our money was going. And so we made some hard decisions, moving back home during the deployment, selling a car during the deployment. So we cut a lot of things out of our budget that we were paying for. A lot of the things that Dani said, we made changes with the toilet paper, with eating out, we were very real with our groceries and, that kind of thing. And then couple that with the skills, the business skills that she taught with really genuinely getting to know people, what their need is, and serving them within that need. Like the tribe feel, the we environment of our team absolutely exploded. It had a ripple effect that really started to increase productivity within the business, within our teammates, and we were growing together, all from the skills that she taught. The stress, the noose around our neck, that feeling that we were slowly drowning started to lift, and we started to see the ripple effect in all over the place. I mean, we started to get a vision. We started to grow back closer together. It was amazing that just starting right there was this excitement, this we were moving in the right direction together, and it was a team effort. And to feel us coming back together, that unity, that bridge.
Give us something to be excited about.
Yeah.
Give us something
a vision
to
together.
look forward to. Yeah, we hadn't had that in a very, very long time.
Since then, as we implement and we recorrect and we go back and we learn a little bit more and we grow a little bit more. We went from, it's like if you look, I remember Chad looking at my paycheck, my back office paycheck. He's like, I cannot believe you stuck that out. But you can see the hockey stick in my business and the income. That is right when we went to Dani Johnson.
She took a lot of the things that we were learning, and she applied them to our business, and it exponentially grew our business in the time that I was deployed, like to the point where I came back and I didn't even recognize what she had built, because when I left, it was not that.
And I started to implement those things and started to bring our team and started to create this excitement around her events. It started to go up because we actually started to get the skills to succeed, not just in the business, but in life, to thrive in our marriages, to thrive with our kids, to thrive in relationships. And so we literally went from, averaging like $70 a month to the point where, it's $50,000 to $60,000 a month, which is insane.
After plugging in for the first steps and Dani and feeling the way out, and then being able to dream again, I don't know if I can put words to that. It's a pretty cool feeling now. So.
Since he was able to step away from the military after 10 years with confidence, I finally feel like I can rest, so to speak, and that I'm not alone, and that I'm secure, and I don't know if there's any better feeling than that sense of security and protection, and knowing that you have unity again in your household, and the peace that it brings to your entire family, and how that plays into relationships with the kids, and just the whole entire atmosphere of the household has changed just because he's back in the house, and we have the skills to thrive as a family and understand each other's personalities and honor each other, and really, really recognize the gifts that each individual in the house has. We learned all of that through First Steps to Success and Dynasty, and studying all her material and just being a student. So I feel relief and freedom, and that's priceless to me, because I haven't had that for 10 years.
So what is success? A big house? A big title? A big fat paycheck? Dani Johnson has had them all, and you need to hear what she discovered when she had them. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
So, how did you come out? Excellence, diligence, consistency. It is so simple, and it really is easy to succeed. It's one simple, small step in the right direction at a time. I got to read you this quote that my coworker Mary, who I'm so very proud of. I've watched this girl just bootstrap herself out of ashes that she put herself in, one of those self-destructive, self-sabotaging habits that many of us have had. I've watched her just bootstrap it out of that and bootstrap it out of mediocrity, and just with a simple, diligent, small plan, be able to have some amazing success. Proverbs 13:4 says this: "The being of the lazy one craves, but has not, while the being of the hard worker is enriched." Yes, isn't that so true? Those who are hardworking, man, they get to experience the fruit of their labor. You see, there are some who think they're hardworking, but they're not. They actually might show up for 8 hours a day, maybe even 12, but they're not accomplishing anything. They're not advancing the company. They're not advancing themselves. They're not advancing anyone else. So therefore, they'd be in that lazy category. That, yeah, you could be a busybody, but not accomplishing the objectives of the whole organization. You could be completely missing it. Not planting what needs to be planted, not doing what needs to be done, but doing what you think should be done. Man, when you hit this target, it's really amazing. And you feel so good about yourself. There's like a confidence bank inside of you, and you're making deposits into that bank every day when you're following just such a simple, sure plan of action that gets the results you're looking for. So it's really easy to become complacent, mediocre, and average. It is also easy and simple on a daily basis to just focus on 3 simple things and move yourself ahead. Every day that you do it, you feel better. It's just like with working out or dieting, right? That's what it is. It's like with working out and dieting, that we, one day, one meal at a time, right? One choice at a time, one snack at a time, we make either a wise choice or we make a bad one. And it's up to us as to whether or not we make the wise or the good. And I have to tell you, I fail often. I really do, especially when it comes to food. I fail often. And then I learned something about 15, 16 years ago. And I learned it from a book that I read by Suzanne Summers. She wrote an incredible book years and years ago, Eat Cheap and Melt the Fat Away. Incredible book. I learned a lot about food. I learned a lot about the body. And I lost 17 pounds from that book, just following what that book said. I probably should pull that out again. But it was a profound understanding about the physical body and how it works and all of this. And I was really, truly blessed. But one of the things that she said in there that was so powerful was that if you screw up on a meal, that doesn't mean screw up for the week. That doesn't mean screw up for the rest of the day. That just means on your very next meal, you hit it really, really clean. That if you cheat on this meal, that doesn't give you the authority to cheat on every meal for the rest of the day. That just means on the next meal, you make sure that you stay really super strict on that next meal, the following meal, the following meal. And so it kind of gave this liberty of, okay, all right, so there's gonna be times when I fall. That doesn't mean I have to jump completely off a cliff. That doesn't mean I have to drown in my gluttony. That just simply means that, all right, I screwed up on that one. That doesn't mean I have to screw up on the next one. And again, that's like one simple little tip, simple little strategy. You got to keep your head on straight that when you screw up. All right, so let me ask you the question again. What does excellence mean to you? How does it show in your life? Where are you putting excellence? And if where you're putting excellence, I want to know what your result is as a direct result. We're going over to Cheryl Leamer from Washington. Cheryl, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, Dani. It's an honor to be on this call with you.
Thanks for joining us on the show today. We appreciate it. So tell me, what does excellence look like to you, and how are you applying that in your life?
Well, excellence to me is when you or an employee shows up for whatever kind of job it is and has the passion and the drive to do a good job, not just be a clock puncher, but to actually have that passion for their job show up every day. Even if it's a bad day, even if maybe, you're not in a good mood or whatever has happened at home, leave it at home, but bring that passion to work with you and not stand for status quo.
Yep. Okay, so let me ask you, because you've been a manager for 17 years, right?
I was. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and how many people did you manage?
Between 8 and 10.
Okay. So and managing 8 to 10 people, how many people did you see had passion for their job?
Maybe 2 or 3.
Isn't that sad?
It is really sad, especially when you're in the healthcare field. It's really,
you're saving lives.
Exactly.
You're saving lives. And 2 out of 10 had a passion for the job. What determined that passion in those people?
That it wasn't just a job for them, that what they were doing was something that they wanted to do, was something that they cared about. And like I said, not settling for status quo, but wanting to make the place that you work a better place. And in my case, that wasn't going to happen, so I had to move on.
So in managing people for 17 years, okay, so this is a funny question. In our thing, we have someone that needs improvement, right? And that's someone who has no passion for the job. They are just a clock puncher. And or they're just not performing, right? They could be doing a lot of other things right. They're just not performing at the job at all. They're just not getting the actual job done. We have meets expectations. Now, this is hilarious. There are people who think that they are exceeding expectations just by showing up on time to work. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Or do you think that just meets expectations?
It depends on what your expectations are.
Well, the expectations are you are hired to show up from 8 to 5.
So, yes, I guess some people think that, yeah, I'm just showing up, so I'm meeting those expectations
Exactly.
of what my employer wants of me.
Absolutely.
And not stepping above that, just being a clock puncher.
Right. Okay, so exceeds expectations. How does someone exceed expectations with showing up to work?
By going above and beyond what their job description is, or stepping out of that job description. To me, by stepping in and helping coworkers, stepping up for tasks, and not just doing what's required of me, but actually helping to, like you mentioned earlier, helping to make the business a better business.
Yes.
Helping to make it be a better place to work, a better place for your customers, and to shine in the community.
Yes. Yes, expand the brand beyond where the brand actually exists.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and beyond the hours that it actually exists. No question.
Right.
Well, Cheryl, thank you so much for sharing your experience with us. 17 years in management. You obviously are gifted. Managers, I'm telling you, managers are saints in my position. I mean, in my opinion, it is not easy to manage people. It can be very, very challenging, and it's a brand new skill set that people have to learn. And if they are terrible at it, it simply is because they're lacking knowledge and skill on how to motivate people, how to pull the best out of people, and how to spur on the passion in people. One of the things I can tell you is if you have people on your staff that are not passionate about the work that they're doing, there is something you as the leader can do to help spur passion on in them. Their passion doesn't necessarily have to be for that business, but their passion might be for a goal that they have outside of the business and using the business to be able to achieve that goal. For example, I have a passion, like my absolute passion outside of my God and outside of my family is taking care of the extreme poor. Like that's what gets me out of bed. That's what motivates me. That's what makes me mad. It's what makes me sad. It's what makes me happy. I mean, it provokes every kind of emotion in me that you can imagine. And it really is the flow of passion inside of me. Now, I don't necessarily, I can retire. I don't need to work. In fact, I don't make any money from my business. I don't take a salary, and I don't touch the profits for myself at all in any way, shape, or form. And so I'm not even being paid to do the show. I'm not being paid to speak at First Steps, writing books, or whatever. I don't get paid for anything that my business produces. And so how in the world can I work here for free? It's because the profits are going to the poor. And so I use my business for my passion. The job itself doesn't have to be the passion, but you can use the job to get you to your passion. And that's what managers have to learn, to find the passion that's in their people and direct it in an appropriate way. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more after this.
Coming up, find out what is holding back the promotion you've been waiting for. Dani spells it out next on The Dani Johnson Show.
For families in Santa Pancha, Nicaragua, life is filled with fear and struggle. They don't have enough food for their kids, clean water is hard to find, and they're living in a decrepit, unsafe hovel on top of mining tunnels that could explode and sink at any moment. But a miracle is in the making, and you can be a part of transforming this village. Go to kingsransom.org and click on Santa Pancha to see how you can help. That's kingsransom.org, kingsransom.org, and click on Santa Pancha. This is your chance. This is your shot. Get your copy of War on Debt right now. There's one waiting for you that has your family's name on it. And inside that package is freedom. Your family's freedom is on the inside of that package. All you have to do is open it up, press play, and start applying what I teach you in this program. 888-757-8880. You and I are going to help your family become completely debt-free in the next 5 to 7 years. Just imagine how that's going to feel.
So I just want to give you a little bit of my story. This is my first time sharing my story on stage, so I'm a little nervous. But I'm excited. I was just asked, seriously 3 minutes ago to share my story. So we'll see how this goes. So my name, like Ray said, my name is Carradine Roundy. I am from Wyoming. Is there anyone else from Wyoming here? Yeah! I was thinking, I think I'm the only one that I've met from Wyoming. That's cool, I'm glad. So prior to plugging into Dani Johnson and First Steps to Success, my husband and I were completely drowning in debt. We got this new job and we increased our income, so we increased our way of living, which is what happens. And we were young, we were just married, and we completely bought more than we needed. We bought a new house, we already had a truck loan, we bought a new car, we lived to the max. And our marriage started to struggle. And we got to where all of our fights were about money constantly. And my husband had a really good job, so we had plenty of money. That was not the issue. It was that we never kept any of it. We spent it on stuff we didn't need. So just a little bit of background. It's just my husband and I, we have no kids, and we bought a 6-bedroom house. I know. Well, that's just, we had the money. The bank told us we had the money we could, so we did. And so obviously we spent the money to fill those rooms in that house on stuff we didn't need. So anyways, our marriage was failing. I mean, we were young, we just got married, and all of our fights were over stupid stuff that was unnecessary. And so I remember one time, just like a quick little look into what it was like. I remember one time sitting in front of our fireplace, our nice fireplace in our nice house, and we were fighting over how we were gonna pay for Christmas for our families. And that was the eye-opener for us, that something had to change. And so we made a decision, and I started a business, and that's what actually opened me up to DaniJohnson.com and to First Steps to Success. And so after coming out of First Steps to Success, we have now been able to pay off, this is crazy, we have now been able to pay off just over $300,000, which is completely crazy because we just thought debt was something that you live with. You know, you're always gonna have a mortgage, you're always going to have a house payment, car payments. That's just the way life goes. And little did we know that that's not the case. So we now live in a smaller house. We love it. We actually, I have less house to clean, which I'm good with. And we live so much more simple, and our marriage is completely turned around. We no longer fight about money. We wonder where we're gonna invest into next and how soon we're gonna get, the mortgage paid off, and that's exciting to us. So everything's just completely changed. And, the relationships that we've been able to grow with other people that are wondering what we're doing, that's been amazing because we've met so many great people, and learning what Dani's going to teach this afternoon has helped us grow to being people more than anything. And that, we hated people before, both of us. We never had those skills. And so I'm really excited for this afternoon. This afternoon's going to be completely transforming to you. As far as being, like she mentioned this morning, your business is people, your business isn't your product. And so with that being said, I just want to have you help me welcome back my mentor and America's favorite millionaire, Dani Johnson.
This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Oh, Dani, I've already accomplished a lot and I am totally satisfied with everything I've accomplished. Okay, well then you should just turn off the television right now or the radio, however which way that you're listening to us, whether you're listening to us on the UA network or the Truth Network or YouTube or on our Facebook page or on our website, DaniJohnson.com, just turn it off, right? If you're already satisfied, have fun with your rut. Have fun with your bad self and your past success. This website and this content is not for you. But if you would like to get honest with yourself, you and I both know that your past success is stale. It's stale. And just like anything that is stale, it stinks. Quit relying on something you did a long time ago. If you want to have a great promotion in your life, you want to have a massive promotion in your life, it requires excellence, diligence, and consistency. And being satisfied with your past success and living on that is not excellent, it's lazy. Is not diligent, it's lazy. Is not consistent, it is lazy. So beep, wrong answer, try again. If you actually want to move your life ahead, quit looking to your past successes. It's time to chart out a new path. It is time to grade yourself, to pursue excellence. Grade yourself right now. How are you doing? And I want you to grade yourself from your boss's perspective, not yours, because the heart is deceitful above all else. Yeah. It is deceitful. We will always grade ourselves higher than we ought to. That's why it's important to ask other people, how do you think I'm doing in this area? And let them tell you honestly. And by the way, if you're the business owner, chances are people are going to lie to you. Ask the ones who have no problem criticizing you. Those are the ones that you want to ask. And that's if you've got the guts. That's if you've got the intestinal fortitude to handle the truth. The sad thing is most people don't. And I will tell you, most leaders don't. Most people who have bootstrapped it from the bottom and worked themselves to the top typically don't keep that top position and especially don't keep advancing themselves beyond their top. Because by the way, your past success, your past record, that's your new floor. That is not your current success. That's your new floor. Whatever your last record was, that's your new starting block. That is not your finish line. That's the place that now you need to beat. That is, of course, you're still breathing. That is, of course, you still got blood pumping through your veins. It's time to step up, rise up, and do something great with your life. What you did yesterday don't matter, friend. Keep moving yourself ahead. Don't be a 98%er who ends up dead or dead broke at the age of 65. That's not your calling. That is not your destiny. You are supposed to make a difference in this world. You are supposed to set a standard of excellence, diligence, and consistency. Those are the three things that will get you massive promotion in life. I want you to ask your spouse, how am I doing in the area of my responsibilities with the home? How am I, if you were to grade me, please tell me, am I needing improvement? Do I meet the expectations of what we exchanged our vows to be, the expectations of what we promised each other? Am I exceeding expectations often? Or do I always exceed expectations? Ask your spouse who will be honest with you. Ask your children who will be honest with you. Ask your best friend that doesn't care whether or not you like everything that they say, but somebody actually that will come against an opinion that you might have that might be completely off. Ask some of those coworkers that you know don't like you. Yeah, ask them. If you have the guts to ask them to evaluate you. What happens when you self-evaluate and allow others that are not your biggest cheerleaders to evaluate you? You'll come up with some sobering information and direction, clarity, steps. So awesome. Makes it so simple. I just came back from a tour in Central America for several weeks. And I did like a bunch of television interviews, a bunch of radio interviews, like news, like live news the largest networks in Central America. Big deal. Anyway, I spoke in stadiums and had 18 other stadiums all connected at the same time, plus 6,000 TV systems. They had thousands and thousands of television stations all over Spain, Portugal, so all of South America, Central America, and the United States, all watching, tens of millions of people watching. And I get off of that, and my question to my people that I'm working with, the team that I'm working with, is tell me what I could have done better. Please tell me what you liked. Tell me what you think could have improved. What areas should I stay close to? What areas should I shift away from? Please tell me the places in which you think it could have been done better. And please hold nothing back. That's how you succeed, my friend. One step at a time, getting the direction. No ego involved, man. Get your ego out of the way. Don't defend. Just go, man, that's helpful information. Thank you so much. After each one of the television interviews, tell me what you'd like to have seen more of. Tell me what could have been done better. Please tell me what area you think I can improve on. In any way that I'm communicating, be open, please, because I want to nail it. I want to hit the target. I want to be proficient in what I'm doing. I want to make sure I'm bringing excellence to the brand, excellence to the team. Don't fluff. Don't blow me up with a bunch of hype. I don't like hype. I hate hype. Hype is deceiving. Don't blow me up with flattery. It's deceiving. It doesn't help me. It doesn't help anybody. So please just be spot on, honest. Period. End of story. Go to work tomorrow. Go home today with that mindset, asking the people to help. We're going over the phone. We got Megan. Megan, tell me, what does excellence look like to you? Megan, are you there? Hi, Megan. I opened her line. Megan, you've muted yourself. It's terrible. It's terrible. That's okay. All right. So, moving right along, Megan had written saying that don't get stuck in perfection. I wish she could tell us what she meant by that, but I can tell you this, that perfection and excellence are two very different things. They are two very, very different things. Perfection is something that we will never, ever meet nor master. Not on this earth. Wherever there's humans involved, there's imperfections. And last time I checked, you're human, I'm human. There's going to be imperfections. But excellence is giving it your absolute best shot. Learning the skills that you need to become excellent in those specific areas. Quit ignoring the weaknesses, shore those suckers up, get better at it, okay? Listen, I have a tendency like everybody else is to be lazy, to be inefficient. That's what all of us want to go towards, right? Look at our entire society wants to work for 40 years just so that they can retire. They want to start a business so they can quit, they can retire. Everything's about becoming lazy one day, which is so sad. I mean, laziness does not produce feelings of great confidence inside of us. We begin to die inside when we have no vision. Laziness does not produce excellence. Excellence is what produces confidence. Diligence produces confidence. Consistency produces confidence. And so perfection, get your eyes off of perfection and get it on excellence. Get it on being diligent and get it on being consistent, because these are the three keys to getting a massive promotion. Listen, I hope that you enjoyed today, you and I working together on your production at home and at work. I want to pass this on to you. 2 different forms of content that can help you so much. First Steps to Wealth and grooming the next generation for success, because you've got to become an excellent parent, giving it your best shot in every way, not leaving anything on the table. Okay, get a copy of these 2 things right now, and you got to get out and join us for a live event here real soon. God bless you. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Did you hear that last segment? Do you know someone else who needs to hear it? Go to DaniJohnson.com, find today's show, and share it online. This has been the Dani Johnson Show. Join us every weekday at 7 a.m. for more insights that will help you get to the life you've always wanted.